It's very interesting. Here's one that is the conundrum. So Caterpillar in the Dow is down 6. Now, is it down 6 because Biden may not win, and so therefore China doesn't love us? Remember, there'll be reversion of policy to China because Biden's part of the old hands in China. Or is it because people don't feel there'll be a big infrastructure bill? Or is it both? When you see a stock down that much, I think it's both. I cannot believe that Caterpillar is just... Was Caterpillar somehow a Biden stock? Wouldn't that be something?
Well, I to your point, infrastructure, right?
Right.
You got to assume, again, even if Biden wins the presidency with the Senate staying Republican, the likelihood of a big infrastructure bill. I mean, you never know, obviously, how these things are going to turn out. You never know if Biden is, if he is elected, is going to be able to turn some people to his point of view. But it seems unlikely.
Unlikely. Now, remember, there are 20 Republican senators who feel like many people who come on air, Carl, which is that it's a V economy. What are we worried about? And COVID's going to be under control by the first quarter. And that is, by the way, a totally legitimate view if you're listening to some of the major drug companies. Because if we do get a vaccine and we reopen America, we don't need to do infrastructure because we're going to be on fire and travel's going to happen again. It's not... There are some belief that the vaccines are coming.
It at all.
I have to tell you, Carl, I had a company on last night, Thermo Fisher. They make these machines. They're testing 100 million people a week now. And they make these machines that can test 8,000 people a day. And they're pumping these machines out. I have now figured out why I'm going to the Super Bowl with or without the Eagles, of course. Eagles have to have a winning record, I think, to be in the Super Bowl. But they will be able to have a COVID-free Super Bowl because these PCR tests, I think they'll be able to make them in a small window, maybe 15 minutes. That could only happen. And they can produce enough to be able to have it so that 80,000 people are processed in a morning. My prediction, the Super Bowl will be COVID-free. It'll be just like the way it used to be because of Thermo Fisher's machines and the science that they've done. David, I know you want therapeutics. I think that Thermo Fisher being able to test is remarkable and is not appreciated nearly enough by the public.
You had Mark Casper on, right?
Yes. You always liked Mark Casper. He's a very acquisitive fella.
Yes. They do deals, but as we pointed out yesterday, of course, there it is. Thank you, guys. They know in the control room I love that chart.
Wow.
Because that's just
what they're doing.
You go back
PCR.
even further, I mean, the numbers are even more. You pointed out 10 times the return in the S&P,
yeah,
right,
1,500% versus 130%. Yeah. And that's without the dividends. Carl, Jim, what they are doing with the PCR test is not known by people, okay? They were really breaking the story on my show. They're ready to make it so that if you want to test a college, boom, you test the college that day. And if it turns out that there are a few people who need it, they can isolate. It is just, they are going to figure out how to make it so we can go back to work. And they're too expensive to buy PCR. I'd buy a PCR for my restaurants if it didn't wipe out all my profit for the next 10 years.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.